This is a game that was played on the hundreds Winamax. This is a reg speed game, so 25 big blinds, and we start with the first hand, 10 jack offsuit, so 25 big blinds deep. Of course, this is an easy open. We open from the button. The big blind is calling. There is a queen high board. He's checking. We are going to see bet. I'm going to see bet this board texture on the high frequency side, because first it's a queen high and it's a dry board, so not all the three cards are connected, not a lot of draw possible. We can have a lot of folds, plus we have an open-ended straight draw. So in case whether if he is calling, we can improve on the turn, or if he's check raising, we can easily call, because we have a very good equity realization if we hit our straight. So, and the third thing is that the deuce X, he's not having that much deuce X in his range. So if we look at the pre-flop ranges here, we can see that if we go to three-way, for example, 20 plus, and we are min raising, he's falling, and he should be calling this range plus minus. Some regs are playing close to this range, some regs are playing on the tight side, but anyway, he will not have deuce X. So you can see, of course, like he's having the suited ones. This is normal. This is fine for us, because the suited combos are just 4, while the off-suited combos are 12. So if he's not having those ones, it's the biggest part of his range that is absent, and therefore he will not have a lot of bottom pairs, and also a few of the two pairs he's not having, because the best two pair with the deuce is the queen deuce, and he's not having it. So the only two pair he can have is the queen nine. So there is a big part of his range that is absent, that might hit here, and therefore we can apply a lot of pressure. Here he went for a check call. That's definitely fine, and there is a 3. So the 3 here is a kind of break. It's not improving our range. So sometimes player will say, yeah, like it's not improving my range, I cannot continue. It might be completing opponent range, or something like this, or like what he did call on the flop, he will call on the turn. This is partially right, because some of his range that he's calling on the flop, he might continue, but it's a reg. He should defend some king high, he should defend some 9x, he should defend some ace high, and so on and so forth. So he still have a range that did call on the flop that will fold on the turn. But the most important part, and as same as it was with the deuce X, it's the same thing with the 3x. If we look at the pre-flop range of our opponents, also the 3x are getting folded pre-flop. So he will not have queen 3, so he will not improve to 2 pair, and also he will not have 9-3. So the 3 is basically a break for our range and for his range as well. So he cannot represent something with this 3. So if we are second barreling and he start check raising us, he cannot say that this 3 did help my range. So if he was strong, he's strong already from the flop, while on the flop he cannot be that strong beside like the queen 9, as we said, and therefore this 3 here isn't a card that he can start firing back or like showing us some strength, and that's why I like to second barrel it. And again, we still have equity. If he is on a strong hand, we can improve and we will have some equity realization. So with my open-ended straight draw, I want to put pressure on king high, ace high, on 9x, some deuce X, because we said he's not having them, but he can have some of the suited ones, of course, and therefore we can make those fold. That's why I went for a second barrel here, and it went through. He did fold, and we go to the next hand. If you have, again, any question, feel free to ask, and I will be happy to answer. 6-3 here. the player is limping. So now we know that it's a recreational, and it's very important to pick those, have it in your habit. As soon as you see someone limping from the button, 3xing from the button, donking, heads up, doing all the kind of things that are 100% just for recreational. I mean, limping the button, some players are still saying that it's a thing here and there, but it's a very, very low frequency. So if you see someone limping from the button, you can give him the check. And then maybe if you see him like in 10 games and then you see that the limping frequency went down to 5% from the button, then maybe he's a regular. But the most important is to mark the fish, because if you don't have it tagged as a fish, you might lose some EV later on, because especially if you are mass stabling, you might not have the information that he is 100% recreational, and therefore you might lose the advantage you can have. What hands would you see bet plus check on turn on queen 9 deuce board? Yeah, good question. So here I will have, of course, some ace x, some king high in my in my range. So those I will not check. I will not see bet them, because those are actually the hands that are having some showdown equity. So I'm not. I cannot make fold better hands. So the 9x maybe here and there, deuce x here and there, yes, but just a low frequency, and therefore like I have showdown equity. I take it on the turn, I check, and I try to go to the showdown. The other hands are the hands with no equity. For example, 7-8. So 7-8, I will just bet, check. And why I will do this? Because one, I know that nor the regular or the recreational, from the range research and the analysis we did in the TBP membership, I know that they don't check call, check bet very random. So they don't do this as an exploit. This is a very good exploit that we explained in another session, but not a lot of regulars are using this. So he will not start calling you, for example, here on the flop with 7-8 offsuit to bluff you on the river. So just check call in with the intention and knowing that you will check on the turn and he will fire just the river. The second reason is that again, from the range research and population tendency, we saw that they are hugely overfolding to bet check bet. So bet check bet has a way better risk award ratio, and also working very good. So as soon as I know that they will not bluff me a lot on the river, and I'm still having fold equity on the river, I take it with my complete airtype hand. Jack 10 here, as I explained, it has some equity, so I take it as a second barrel. Ace high, king high, they have showdown, I don't take it. And then the other hand that doesn't have showdown, doesn't have equity, I just check back and go for a bet check bet as a pure exploit. And yeah, as I explained always, like I'm not trying to be balanced like the GTO does. I'm looking for population tendency and trying to exploit this. So this is how you maximize your EV, and this is how would be my play here on the spot overall. 6-3 here. So I was talking about the recreational. He did limp, so we give him a tag and then check back, because don't do the opposite. Because if you have lots of tables, especially if you play stacked or something like this, you might like the focus might go somewhere else and you forget tagging him. So as soon as you see you have the information, tag him and then do your action. So we tag, we check back, and then we have 7-5 deuce. We are checking, he's going for a pot bet. So here we are having a gut shot plus one overcard to the mid pair, but he's going for a limp C bet on a low board with a pot bet. Of course, it can be sometimes something random. So some two overcards, some hands that are didn't hit something, but we are having just a 6 high. It's just a gut shot, and we cannot defend against a pot bet. The other reason is that recreational, if they are betting big on a street or another, they are willing to bet another street. So if you have a hand that isn't improving that much, keep in mind that you will face another bet. So that's why here we are check, fold in, and we move to the next hand. The regular is fold in. We have a 10 deuce, and we are limping. The recreational, like here, we got the information that he's a recreational. We are going to play a very exploitative style, and since he did limp the button, it means that he is the type of players that likes to play post flop. As soon as you see someone limping from the button, it means that he likes to see flops, he likes to play. Because if he was the type of guy that wants to ISO, wants to pick pots pre-flop, he will not limp the button, he will start raising it, he will start 3xing and so on and so forth. So the players that are limping the button are the players that will check back a lot and not ISO a lot. Previous hands, how you play with middle pair and bottom pair versus bottom pair. I mean, do you lead? Very good question. Yeah, like here against recreational, we definitely want to have some leads, and the more the hands needs protection, the more you want to lead, because in theory, when we are having a bottom pair, a middle pair, we are picking the strong ones that as not only on long bets, but on any kind of spot. Even for example, for the c bet, we will pick the ones that have better equity as a c bet, while against recreational we are going to do the opposite. The more the hands needs protection, the more we want to bet it. So the more the hands can be, the hand can be weak, the more we'll go towards the bet. So here, if I'm having like 4-5, 5-6, even sometimes deuce 3, deuce 4, I can go for a bet and lead in here for pure protection. If I'm having king deuce, king 5, those type of hands, I'm still going for a check call, because those have a very good implied odds, because we know recreational, they can limp ace-x, they can limp king high, they can limp queen high, jack high from the button, and therefore having those kind of high cards with the low pair can have very good equity realization, because as soon as they hit this pair and we are improving to a 2 pair, we then can stack him off. So we don't gain much by if we have, for example, let's say king deuce, we don't gain much by making him fold king 8, because king 8 hitting the king, it gives him a top pair that he can go broke with, while it's giving us a 2 pair, so we are dominating this. So making king 8, for example, folding isn't good for us with king deuce. While if we have deuce 3, we bet and he's folding king 8, it's fine for us. So we are going for some lead and some bets here, definitely with some low pair and middle pair. Do you check raise or just call with 2 pair versus pot c? But yeah, definitely check raise, and don't slow play against big sizing against regular. So against recreational, sorry. As soon as you see a recreational picking a big sizing, raise it. You are strong, raise it back, because when he picked the big sizing, of course, like there are some randomness. He can be random with some 2 overpairs, but most likely the sizing is telling us the strength of his hand. So he's having 7-8, he's having 7-9, he's having queen 7, and he's pot betting, he's having some overpairs, and he's pot betting. The good thing why you go check raise is that the recreational, they fast play their hands, even the weak ones. And sometimes I would not be surprised to see a king queen going over the top. So you check raise him, he's just jamming king queen because he sees like we know recreational, like they might have some completely different understanding of the game. Like he's saying, I'm having two pairs, I'm having not two pairs, I'm having two overcards, or I'm having king queen. It's one of the best hand pre-flop, so I want to go with it. Whatever kind of thinking. So that's why we don't want to slow play. If I have 5-7 here, I raise it and get it in. Also, you want to make it 2 streets, because even if he is, for example, with a 7-9, there is a king on the turn after a check raise, he will still go broke with. While if you are having 5-7, there is a king, you are checking, he will check back with 7-9 here and there. Therefore, you are losing 1 street of value. He might call you on the river if you are betting, but you are losing 1 street of value, while you can get his whole stack here by raising. Very good questions, by the way, about those spots. And I hope I answered it. If you want some follow-up, just let me know in the comments. All right, so 10 deuce. So I said that he did limp the button. We know that he likes to play post-flop. We are going to play very loose range pre-flop with limping, minimizing the variance and playing our strategy as a limp C bet. So here we are hitting a bottom pair with an okay-ish kicker. So like it's one of the best. So king, there is queen deuce, king deuce, ace deuce that are better, but it's still one a good kicker. So here there is two different play styles. So there is what we call the smart check. The smart check is checking with a hand that doesn't need protection and can go for 3 streets of values. That's what we call smart checking. As a general definition of the smart checking, we can do it with all our middle pair and bottom pair, because those are the hands that actually doesn't need protection and can't go for 3 streets of value. There is the advanced smart checking. So this is if you use the first one, you are fine, you are smart, and you are using the exploit. The advanced smart checking is to maximize the smart checks. So this is a little bit of a tricky part. And here you need to have a better understanding of the board texture, of the dynamics that are going on. So when we are using this, the advanced smart checking is when, for example, the hand doesn't need protection, can't go for 3 streets of value, but needs to protect against overcards. So those kind of spots, when we are having, for example, like as a clear one, king 7 deuce rainbow. So this is very dry board. This is a board structure where we will have a lot of fold equity, and we are having a kind of 3 deuce, for example. So that cannot improve much. There is a deuce, and he's having a bunch of two overcards that are folding. So those kind of overcards, we are going to deny equity by betting. If he's calling loose, it's still fine. We are getting we are getting value because we are ahead. But if he's folding, we are denying equity. If it's, for example, let's say a king 10-9 and we are having a 9 deuce, the 9 here actually doesn't need protection because there aren't a lot of overcards, random 2 overcards that our opponents can have, and therefore we don't need that much protection, and we can easily go with a smart check with 9 deuce in the other example. Here we have 10 deuce. There are some 2 overcards, there are some draw, there is the 10 that is an overcard that can be good if we improve to 2 pair. So this is going like in the middle. So this is if you are going, for example, as a smart check, it's definitely fine. It's working. If you are going for a bet, it's also fine. You are denying equity. So both options are fine here. But if you are having, for example, three deuce, I would go definitely more for a bet than a check. And if I'm having like king deuce, I'm going more for a check than a bet. This is the main difference here. So I decided here to go for a bet again, like it's whatever you can pick whatever option you want. And my opponent is Colin. There is a six. It's one of the worst cards. He didn't raise, so he's not on a jack, so he's more likely having a six. You can have some random cards, but the most important is if you know that it's a recreational, if you know that he's more leaning towards the passive side, you are fine to give up some equity. So don't try to pick up the pot like thinking, oh, I can put pressure here on some deuce eggs. I might be ahead. I want to get some value or whatever. So it's a marginal hand. It's definitely fine to just check fold. Don't overestimate your hand and be sure that you will have a better spot. So he's here again, he's going for a pot bet. Easy decision for us, easy fold, and we move to the next hand. So luckily, we did fold. And queen three, so we fold, but let's have a look what's happened here. So the recreational is limping, regular is ISO shoving, and we go for the next one. So the recreational is again limping, and the regular is over. That's an interesting one. The regular is over limping, and we are having king jack off. So yeah, like here we have the choice between I think all the action. Yeah, like not leaning toward the check back. I think might be the less common, but who's shoving directly? Who's picking a non-all-in ISO? Yeah, let me know in the comment, or just unmute yourself and answer. Non-all-in ISO for me, 3x shove. For me, it's borderline amount of line between ISO shove and ISO non-all-in. 4.5 check. Right, interesting. Rather non-all-in push. All right. So few are shoving, few are picking 3x, only one picking check. I would non-all-in king queen, but not sure about king jack. All right, so that's very interesting. So what we need to keep in mind is the regular that is over limping from the small blind. So this is the biggest part and the most important part in taking our decision here, because the recreational, we know their range. I mean, we don't know their range exactly, but the average range of recreational, and we kind of know that we are ahead against this range. So in this part, it's fine. We can ISO non-all-in. We want to dominate this range and play against the recreational. But the range of the regular. So the regular, if he did limp here, he has a playable hand post-flop. The playable hands post-flop are the hands that has very good equity realization. The very good equity realization hands here are the hands that can play even multi-way. So if we go for an ISO non-all-in, especially the 2.5, 3x ISO, at a very high frequency, will go three-way post-flop. King jack off isn't a hand that likes to play, like we say, in a sandwich, so in between two player, three-way. Sorry. So here, if we go three-way, most of the flop, even if we hit a good pair, so even if we hit a jack, even if we hit a king, against two players, it might have a good equity, but it still needs protection and it still can lose a lot. So those kind of hand that doesn't have good equity realization and cannot play multi-way or like not top range, like top pairs, or like a kind of ace king, ace queen suited, those kind of hands we should actually protect and go all in. Or like the big ISO might be a thing here, because then the regular cannot defend a 7-8 suited against 5 big blind 4.5. So this is something that might be better, but we cannot prove it because we don't have the AI solver to do it multi-way and to see which kind of option is better, and also how you will play it post-flop. But so far, since there is dead money in the middle, and this guy, I would say 95% plus, he's folding to a shove, this is printing for us. I just don't non-all-in ISO three-way the offsuit hand, even ace king. I would, yeah, 100%, like ace x offsuit all in. So you don't like those hands. Like when we talk about equity realization, it's most like connected and suited. So like those kind of hands that can hit big even against two players. So those hands like 7-8 suited, Jack 9 suited, those type of hands. So those hands are having very good equity realization even against two players. And that's why we can, I mean, like not in our example, like we would not start isolating those, but those here are the hands that small blind will call. But from our side, we need good equity realization plus good plus a strong hand that is dominating their calling range. So that's why I would go really for the top range as non-all-in ISO, and those hands that needs protection, I would just go for the shove. We have two big blind dead money plus our one big blind that is post, so this is not counted because we are posting the one big blind anyway. So this is a big win for us. And to not get into a 3 that is kind of hard to play, I would just pick the all-in. From how many big blind deep do you switch to ISO non-all-in with this type of hands? I wouldn't play the off-suited hands as an ISO non-all-in, because like either if it's 14, 15 big blind and this guy is calling, the deeper we are, the more he can allow himself to call, and the more equity realization he's having, because like the hands that are having very good equity realization, like the suited connectors, those are the hands that are having better EV deeper. So those kind of hands, like our hand is more vulnerable against those kind of hands when we are even deeper. So King Jack, if I decide to ISO, I go for the ISO shove directly. Same for the ace x off. If you, I mean, like if it's a reg to your right, I would recommend to just go with it. If you are against two recreational, you might skip the EV at the beginning. You are 25 big blinds effective. You just check back, yeah, like hit, you are fine, you didn't hit, you skip, you go to the next hand, because you expect a very high GPV from this game. While if you have the regular to your right, you can pick it, I think, all the time. So 20 big blinds, for example, you check back. If it's too recreational, if it's a regular here to my right, I just ISO, because again, the regulars aren't getting tricky in those kind of spots. They will not start over limping with ace-x. So if you do the calculation from in the how we call it, in the HRC, for example, you will see that this kind of ISO are very profitable, and especially when you have the small blind that is going to fold like 90%, 95% of the time, which is the case for the regulars. Recreationals, you can expect whatever. So this guy can limp call, this guy can limp call, and that's why it's dangerous to do this against recreational, like dangerous, and then it's high variance. So you can expect more future EV by just check back in. All right, so yeah, another interesting spot here. King Jack of I went for the shove, both fold. Thanks for the free chips. And we go to the next one. 9-10. The regular is open shoving directly. Ace-8, pocket fours. Fortunately, the recreational didn't hold. And we move to the next hand. So ace-jack here. We are playing 18 big blind effective with the regular. The recreational here is playing like 3 big blinds. So there is a kind of tricky dynamic here, is that if we min raise, he is with 2.5 and he's going all in, the regular can easily call knowing that we will not go over the top. So this is playing very bad for ace jack off. If we are here min raising, he's going over the top with 3.1, it's a raise. So he cannot allow himself to call because we can go over the top and make him fold free chip. So he cannot play the hands that are having like the same hands that we were talking about the previous spot with good equity realization. Also, we want to raise here ace jack because this guy can just squeeze with low ace x's or some hands that we are dominating, that he will just snap fold if we are open shoving because we are 18 big blind effective with the regular. So that's why I pick here a min raise. The recreational is going over the top, and it's queen 5. We hold, and we are going heads up against the regular. Would you limp if the small blind has 2.9? Bet 2.1 cannot do. Bet 2.1 recreational cannot do an official raise. Cannot squeeze. Yeah. But like 2x, like the advantage for us is to make it 2x to let him raise actually. And here Arpacino is actually asking, would you limp if the small blind had 2.9? No, because it will look more trappy for the regular. So if he had 2.5, like less than 3 big blind, I would just open shove. I might limp, for example, with ace king 7-9 here and there, but very in very rare cases, because like those kind of limps from the button, like I don't like them much. So if I don't have the read that this guy is kind of super aggressive but not smart, because some the rare, especially on the high stacks, they are very aggressive, but very aggressive and smart. So they might see some kind of dynamics, they might see some kind of things that you are doing, and therefore yeah, like you might start doing mistakes by trying to be tricky. So always play in your comfort zone. I know that some players like might tell you you need to play GTO, you need to do this, you need to do that. Yes, that's true, but always in your comfort zone. If you didn't learn something, if you don't know how to use it, if you don't know how to maximize the EV out of it, you might find yourself actually losing more than winning when doing something like this. And as soon as you are not comfortable playing something, as soon as you don't know how to play something. Don't do it until you learn it, until you practice, and this is when you start using it. So that's why I always recommend to not play a limping range from the button, because it gets you to a part where it's hard to study because you are splitting ranges, and splitting ranges, it means that you need a way harder strategy and way more complexity to you are adding or using a play that is more complex. So you are using min raises, you are using limbs, you are using open shots, how you are playing here, how you are playing there, and sometimes you might end up face up, because same as when you are using different sizing post flop. So if you are using 3-4 sizing, different sizing post flop, at a point the regular might know what you are doing, because you might think that you are balanced, but it's super hard to be balanced using multiple sizings. And that's why, yeah, like studying something, making it simple, use it, know the population tendencies, how to exploit it. This is how you would maximize it. And from my side, I would here play it all in or min raise as this situation. If he's less than 3 big blind, I would just open show it. All right, so we went heads up. We are having king 8. So a little bit about our opponent. I will not open his stats, but I remember him. I know that he is kind of good one, tricky one, on the aggressive side, a smart one as well. And therefore, like, we created some kind of dynamics. And yeah, like, I will not go into in detail about that, but what you need to know is that he's a good one, but with an aggressive style. All right, so king 8 off here. We are going to defend against his min raise, and we are hitting a good flush draw, and he didn't decide to see bet. So already we need to be careful, because it's a monotone board. It's a queen 4-5, so it's not very connected, and we can see bet a lot here from his side. He didn't decide to see bet. There is a 10. What is our decision? Who's going for the easy line? Who's going for the check call? Or who's going for a pro bet here? Robin, yeah, if you can let us know. If you can unmute yourself, just you can talk directly and explain why.
I feel like his check back range would be weak, so I'm gonna exploit that.
You expect it to be weak?
Yes.
All right, interesting. Proxy is saying check. This is aggro. Joe is saying check with showdown value. All right, very, very good. I will already start explaining here. I mean, not saying what is optimal, because it can be there can be different scenario, there can be different opinion, depending on the opponents and his range as well. But how I see this, because first let's start with what Manuel said. He said pro bet because his range is weak. I kind of disagree with the second part. His range might not be weak, but it's not top range. So if he is on a flush, if he is on a good queen, he would start value betting. It's capped. Very good. I agree with you. So that's better. So it's not weak, it's capped. Because when we say weak, people might think it's, for example, I don't know, like something like a jack deuce offsuit without diamond. This might sound weak. It's capped, very good. It might be 4x, 5x, some kind of flush draw, some kind of equity hand, but not super strong. Uh, Proxy NFL said check versus aggro. I would do this, and this goes alongside with draw saying check with showdown value. Uh, versus aggro, I would do this if I'm very strong. So this hand is more or less strong because it has showdown value, but it's not strong enough to defend against aggro opponents. Because aggro opponents, if he decides to bet here, he's going to bet on the river. Our hand can call here, cannot call super loose on the river. So if we hit, of course, a diamond, that's easy decision. If we don't improve, we might be ahead, but folding the best hand. That's why I prefer to pro bet here, because sometimes, and especially again, like against recreational, it's not true, but against, especially against regular, you can fight aggression with aggression. This is how you can, especially against the smart. That's why I said not against recreational, because recreational, especially maniacs, like can just wait for the good hand and he will just offer you his stack. While against the regular, if you are super passive, you are playing him, he will just run over you and be smart and maximize his values as well. And that's against the regular, we should fight aggression with aggression. So how to play here, I don't want to go to the passive line, because I will check call here, I will hit the diamond, he will check back, I lost value. I will check call here, no diamond, he will bet again, I fold, I lose. I will bet myself, I see his range as kind of capped, as kind of 4x, 5x, some diamond here and there. So I can pro bet, I can bet the river, and I can take the aggression myself and generate more win rates. So I have a good hand. I have a hand that can still have showdown value, like against the, let's say, not the bad regulars, but the regulars that are more bet turn, give up river. It's fine. You can check call here, like Draw said, because it has showdown. You can check call here, knowing that he can go and give up a lot of his air-type hands on the river. You can win with king high. That's definitely fine. Against a good regular, against an aggressive regular, smart regular, you should actually go for a probe yourself with the intention to bluff the river. So yeah, I picked here 3 big blind. I mean, like, it's not generator and proper SPR here. Maybe going for uh for 3.5 or full pot is better, but with what we intend to do, it's still fine to use this sizing. So he went to the fold. I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him folding 4x, 5x, because he know that if I'm betting here, especially with air-type hands, I'm going to continue on the river, and with hands that cannot improve a lot. And knowing, and this is a very, very important point when you are playing against good opponents, aggressive opponents. When you know that your hand isn't improving, you are going to check call, because in theory you should check call, and you might improve, you might not, or but you know that your opponent will bet a lot on the river. You actually should generate more win rate by overfolding on the turn already, and this will and believe me, this will generate you a lot of win rate against aggressive opponents. You will overfold, and when you call, you will call them down, and you will generate more win rate. On what rivers you were? I think in this spot, I'm going on any river, because I mean, like, not a paired river, no 4, no 5, etc. So any river I would barrel it, because I know his range. It's a capped range, and it's a range that I want to put max pressure on it, and that's why I bet here and go for another base. Because even if he is on a 6-7, I know he is an aggressive player. He might turn this into a bluff and get me out of my hand. So my hand wouldn't get to the showdown and will not win the showdown value it has. And by betting here, constructing a good pot, I will generate more win rate by betting on the river. Again, this is my point of view. This is how I see things. This is how I implement them on the high stacks. Don't don't take them as crafting stone, and also don't use them against all opponents. So this is a type of dynamics I'm using against this player. This is how it's happening on the high stacks, like creating dynamics, playing in a way, changing the way when you see that players in adapting and so on and so forth. So this is how we are doing the things. We are not going just standard lines, playing GTO or wherever. So adapting, readapting is the key to make the maximum win rate. Oops, sorry. So I went for the bet here, and yeah, it went through. And yeah, we go to the next hand. So we have Jack 4 offsuit. And all right, so I went for a min raise here. I'm not min raising a lot with those type of hands. I think it's used by GTO at some frequency, or at 18 big blind effective. Yeah, 18 big blind. And all right, GG. Yeah, Jack 4. I mean, like some Jack X are, as you can see, like you can use those kind of min raises here and there. What is the changing point is the ISO frequency. Here, GTO is isolating 38% of the time. So this is the ISO frequency. This is why Jack 4 is raising here and there, Jack 3, King 4, etc. Like those kind of hands are raising because the opponent will ISO a lot, and therefore like those kind of hands will lose value. The less your opponent is isolating, the less you want to min raise them. So population tendencies are like 20 plus, 18 plus, they are isolating something around 28% or something like that. So this is far from GTO, and therefore we can limp more. This player is isolating a lot. He's playing aggressive post flop, and therefore like I went for here for the min raise. It's not like, again, cross install. I will not go 100% for min raise. We'll just use an RNG and go for the decision. What will you do with a king jack off? This same off, definitely limping. If I know that he's isolating 40%, 45%, definitely limping, limp shoving, even limp calling, because they can even ISO shove, for example, king 4, king 5 off, even 16 plus. So I would definitely use it as a trap. Jack 4, min raising, he is calling. There is a 10-3 deuce. It's a very a nice flop. And I'm going for a check here. Yeah, I don't like the check here. I mean, like as an aggressive opponent, he might start check raising us, but that's definitely fine. It's not like we are falling super strong hand, still a jack high, with some backdoor stuff. So the backdoor stuff is why I like the C bet, because it gives us the opportunity to second barrel a lot and get to the yeah, like to make him fold some equity hands. Also, like on the flop, he should not have a lot of 2x 3x, so he might overfold. So yeah, our hand should be in the camp of c betting. I went here for the check. He will fold some deuce x 3x pre-flop. Maybe it doesn't have 3 deuce and deuce. Yeah, exactly. So he's not having 3 deuce 3x and deuce x at a high frequency. Also, like he's not having 2 pair, so that's definitely fine. To c bet, I went for the check. So let's see here how we should go with it. He's going for a pro bet with a 3 big blind. So of course, I will not ask if you are calling or not. I think it's clear for everyone here that it's a call. We have a second pair, we have a good kicker, and we have a good flush draw. So we have the position. We are going nowhere. We are going to call here. And on the river, there is a 9. So this is a break, basically. Nothing complete. I mean, like some 10-9, 4-9 maybe, completing to two pairs, but nothing much. So this is a complete break. And all right, so he's going all in. Yeah, that's interesting. Like who's snap folding, who's snap calling? I mean, like we will all think, but who's having an easy decision here? Snap call. All right. Against everyone or against this opponent? Call versus aggro with jack blocker. Nice, right? Against reg. Okay, nice. Okay. I mean, like against regs, it might, especially average reg or like 25 and lower regs, should be very careful. It's not like, I know they snap call versus me. I don't know if I snap. Yeah, all right, very good. Yeah, I would say this against this guy, I think I went for the call. Yeah, I went for the call. I mean, on the high stack against the 25 and lower, snap folded. The 9 isn't a scare card, isn't a card that he can put a lot of pressure. And believe me, like he needs to find a lot of bluffs to start making a lot, like to start making us a lot of money. So let's have a look quickly on GTO if this call print or not. So we are going for a min raise, and I would expect it to not be a maybe not even a call, or like at least not a call that is printing. So 10-3 deuce. So we min raise, he calls, we check, he checks. We are going for like check 4 here at a high frequency. It's going for a bet. So we shouldn't check much on this board texture. We explained it already. He shouldn't have a lot of equity hands. So betting around 33%, and especially like with the jack of club. Yeah, this is the one that is going for a high frequency C bet. But yeah, like let's expect it to be a check. There is a 4 of club. So let's say this is a good irregular. He's using a 3 big blind sizing, so this is a correct sizing. The frequent like 3 or 2, this is a correct sizing from his side. He's betting, of course, like with jack 4. If we decided to check, it's a clear call with the club, even without it's calling here and there. And then there is a 9. So the 9 here, we are going to face a shove. So he's overbet shoving. This is something used by GTO again. So this is definitely fine. And let's look at his shoving range and how it looks like. So what I do here is looking how it's distributed. So the shoving range where he is doing this. So let's pick this and see how much it is for example, like when it is done. So for example, we can see that this middle part from the 2 pair to the king high, it's not using an overbet shove. So from the top part, it's using straights and flush. So straight and flush are the ones that are used with an overbet shove, and then he's using the bottom part. So the bluffing part that decided to pro bet random, and then went, I mean, not random, but like with might be some kind of equity here, like a 5 or 6, and then is deciding to bluff, but not at a high frequency. So if we clear this and put this as big, so we can see that 15% of the no-made hand are going for the shove. And then we have from the top range, 50% of the top range is going for the overbet shove. Let's say again, he's a good rag and he decide to shove somewhere near this range. So somewhere this near this range, we can see actually like Jack 4 is a kind of clear fold, and with the Jack of club, it's a break-even call. So we are not even making money. And here, that's why I was saying that on this 9, he will need to find those bluffs. First, he will need to find the pro bets on the turn with those hands, and then continue with them. Because if he's having a straight or a flush on the river, as we said, this is a kind of break. So this doesn't change. So the range didn't improve. So the straights and the flushes, they are already in on the turn. So those kind of value hand, they are already existing. And he is going with the pro bets with those kind of hands on the turn, and he will continue on the river, maybe with this sizing, maybe with another sizing. But the no-made hand are the hands that are very important. So against an average rag, and against the rag that isn't capable of those kind of things, this call will become easily minus EV. So Jack 4, it's becoming easily minus EV. So this is against the average rag, the rag that isn't bluffing that much. Let's see if let's make it dynamic, give it like 2 sizing, make it like 33, 55, or like let's make it once. Well, let's make it automatic. All right, let's give it an automatic sizings, and see if we are having an aggressive recreational, how our range should look like. So here, solver is just saying, the AI is just saying I'm a noob. He's just c-betting 100% of the Jack 4 here. But yeah, let's do a little trick here and give him some Jack 4 just to see if are we on the, yeah, just to see if we can have the calls with our hand. So to not go and change our hand, let's make it like 80-20, 80 bet 20 check, and put it to Jack 4. The rest I will keep it as it is. So this will not change much in the solution because we just add few calls. This will just give us the opportunity, and this is something you can do. Like, I mean, you cannot do it at 20% if you don't want, if you are afraid to change the outcome of the EV. You can do it at 95% just to see how the hand is going to play to the river. So the range is basically the same with the check back, and then there is a 4 on the turn. The solver is picking 2.7. I mean, we can give it 3 so that we stay. He went for 3 big blind here, I think, if I remember. Yeah, to stay just at the same 3 again against the regular. So he's going for a 3 big blind. We say here like 25%. Let's keep it as it is. Will not go to this 3. And the most important is going to the river. Let's see here first, like if we are having kind of same outcome here, Jack 4 again. Now the Jack 4 with the club is printing money. Without the club, it's not printing money against this against the AI. So the AI is a little bit changing his ranges. But let's talk about, so it was here, like the call is 3 with Jack of club. Let's see here again if he is doing something not similar to what was in the GTO. So here he is, the no-made hand is betting with all-in at 11% and flushes and straights at 40%. So a little bit less than what it was in the GTO, but still around the same percentage. What we are going to do here is increasing. Let's say he is betting, for example, all in 35% and checking 50%. So he's going to bluff with all-in his no-made hand at 35% of the time. So if we do this, and let's lock all, if we do this, and it's important to look all every time you are doing this, because if you look just one part, he will still try to balance the other parts. If you look all, it will stay the same. So if we are doing this, you can see that Jack 4 now is just printing. So what we are saying here is this is a maniac, this is a recreational that is just going blindly for bet to the river. Let's try here, like we did give him the no-made hand, but let's say he is a smart reg. He knows that he has a good understanding, and he knows that he is having an aggressive image, and he's using it to improve his value. So let's say he will, to balance this no-made hands, he will bet all in with all his two pair, with all his straights and all his flushes. So we keep the 35% no-made hand with the all-in, and give all-in with two pair straight flush. And this is how a very aggressive opponent in the high stack will be playing in this spot. So if he's picking some kind of unusual bluffs or like over bluffing, he will add definitely the top range with his value and with the same sizing. So here he's going all in with two pairs, with straight, with flushes, and then the Jack 4, you can see that it went to minus EV without the club, and here it went to plus EV, but still not printing. It's okay. I mean, against an aggressive regular and an aggressive opponent, it's definitely okay to take this. But the outcome of this solution and of this node lock is that the opponent and the player, he really needs to have a lot of no-made hands and to bluff with this sizing with an unusual line without balancing it with the top range to make our loose call plus EV. And this is not happening in most of the situations against the average regular, or the average or like the 20, I would say the 25s and below. I wouldn't recommend to do this just if you really know that he's on the aggressive side. So here I went for the call. He's having check 7 off, so went through, like you can see here, like he did it without equity. So the read we have on him that he's on the aggressive side, he can pick unusual, like it's fine. So here already on the turn he can start picking, because you can see here that Jack 7 here, he's doing this just with the club. He's not picking random Jack 7. So if we add bluffs on the turn already, and we keep the 35%, this call here will get plus EV. But as I showed you at the beginning, and even with the node lock, it's very hard to make it plus EV if he doesn't have enough bluffs. On what river card would you call this is average rag? With my 4 here, yeah, like I wouldn't go for a call against an overbet shot, because this is definitely not a line that is used with regular. So this is the case where I know that regular will have give ups on the river. So I'm calling on the turn to get it to the showdown. If he is betting on the river with this sizing, with the all-in, I would definitely snap fold those. Against, even on the high stacks, against 80% of the regulars, I would snap fold this one. Because even if it's plus EV, GTO, we saw it, like it's very fast can get minus EV. And knowing like the probing frequency of regulars on those kind, especially on those kind of spots, it will be very hard for them to have enough bluffs on the river with the sizing. But I would definitely call the turn, because first I can improve, and second I can win at the showdown. So yeah, like he's left with half big blind. Yeah, that's it. Uh, just a not all in for the last hand. We are a little bit over time for this one. Sorry for that. But we had a lot of questions, lots of interaction. Thanks for that, everyone. And yeah, I think we did one game, not a lot of hands, but a lot of insight. Hope you liked it. If you have some follow-up question, feel free to ask in the Discord anything about us, about our membership. You can reach out to us directly or uh, in the open channels. So yeah, that was it for today. I wish you a very good luck at the tables. Hope you liked it and see you next time. Yeah, thanks for being here. Bye bye, everyone.